Phil from 3DP UK Tech Channel, and something new for me to share to you today. Here we have the DeLonghi Magnifica Evo coffee machine, which is a fully automated bean to cup. But before we continue with this video, let's have a quick word from today's sponsor, PCBWay.com. PCBWay are a PC board manufacturer, but not only PCBs, they do PCB prototyping, PCB assembly, FPC and rigid flex, advanced PCBs, and even CNC and 3D printing. The site's very easy to use. It also has bioprotection, worldwide delivery, and all sorts of other great additions. As you can see, they have competitions and all sorts of different projects that you can carry out. So check out PCBWay.com, which is today's video sponsor, PCBWay.com. Back to look at the DeLonghi Magnifica Evo. This particular model is the 290.61.SB. There are quite a few different types of models for this variations, as shown on screen now. See, it has a number of different preset functions. It's my latte, which I'll explain a little bit more later, a cappuccino, espresso, coffee, and hot water. At the back, you will see a lid. If you take this lid off, you will see it's where you house the coffee beans. To the top left, this is the grinder. This is the settings that you would use for the grinder. So the thicker the bean or the more thinner the bean. At the front, you will notice the little lid, and this is for ground coffee. So you can use that, but you do need to select that on the function at the front. So let's replace the lid. Obviously, we want to always make sure that's on for safety reasons. So at the front, you'll notice several preset functions. So there's the My Latte function, the cappuccino function, the espresso, coffee, and hot water. With the My Latte, there are different ways to actually make a coffee with that. You can also see the different strengths of beans, so smaller being less strength and the larger being the larger strength. So to the left here is where we have the foamer. So you can put the milk inside here, push it forward and connect it. With the easy to use spout, you can direction it to wherever the cup is. I do find that it's a little bit tedious with sort of larger cups. So if you press this button on the left hand side, that actually disengages it and pulls it away. Now you have two different options for this. So you can use it for the foamer, or you can use it for the spout, which is for the hot water. Very easy to use, just pushes in like so. With this particular one, you don't have a button on it to remove it. It literally just unclips. So at the bottom, you'll see this black sensor. So this sensor only really works for the foamer, the latte foamer. And what that does is it tells the machine whether there's milk in it, and that really only comes into effect with the My Latte function. Here you have the spout, the hot water spout, for the coffee, and you can move it up and down. So obviously if you're going to make an espresso, you would want it quite low down. Also, you'd want it low down when it does the bleed through in the morning or in the afternoon whenever you're using it. So over to the right hand side is where the water tank is. Now it is fully removable, as you can see. You just slide it out. You do have a spout at the top, so you can just top it in place, so you don't have to remove it like some of the coffee machines that you have. So just tip it in there. On the right hand side, you have a maximum limit. You can also see there's a filter, which is really good. I've noticed online there are about four filters for £20, which is pretty decent price. As you can see, it just fits in. There is a how-to guide on how to fit that in, and also how to actually install it. There's a particular way of doing that. So let's move this to one side. So over on the right hand side of the Evo Magnifico, you will notice there's like a little door. What we'll do is we'll put some light onto that because it's quite dark in there. It's just a pull down door. As we get a bit closer, you'll see. So you just pull the top tab and it will just swing open, and that's where the actual grinder is. Now the two red buttons, basically very simple to use. Pinch both sides with your hand and slide out the grinder. As you can see, I've been using it recently, so it isn't clean. But it's something that I would say that you want to clean fairly regular just to keep a consistent grind. But also it says on there some warning signs, so it's not dishwasher safe and you cannot use any detergents on it. So it's just some hot water. I've done that a few times and I've had this machine for a few weeks now. I like to just keep on top of things. Very easy to push back and then close the lid. You'll hear like a click when it pushes back anyway. So around to the front of the machine, you'll notice like a little stand area, which is where you put your mugs. If you slide this out, it comes in 3 parts actually. The first part is the main compartment. So in here is where your used coffee pods will go. So that the actual squeeze pod, it bleeds through. On top is like a stainless steel plate, so you can remove that fairly easy and clean that if needed. And then inside is a catch tray. So in the morning or when you first use it, it will bleed some water into there. And also at the end when the machine turns off. This is just a cleaning function. The little red tab that you saw is like a float. So basically when that's full, the little red tab will come right up and sort of pre-warn you that it's going to overflow if you continue. So it's very easy to remove and just tip out. So let's replace the compartment back in. A little bit later on, you'll see it actually being used. So you'll see a few pods in there. So back over to the side of the machine, let's put the water tank back on. But before we do that, I'll just show you that there is a removable lid. So every so often, it's probably a good idea just to give it a bit of a wipe out and a bit of a flush out. The filter just pushes in anyway, so it's very easy. You lift it up and put it over the top and it just glides in. Don't force it. It can be a bit tight to begin with. And then you'll hear a little click at the end. So over to the hot water spout, you can just pull that off. Like I say, there's no clip button on that. Put it to one side and you have your foamer. As I said earlier, you can move the spout up and down, so it's fairly easy to use. But what we're going to do now is turn the machine on. So let's put that in the down position, move the spout down, because obviously what it's going to do when I flick the switch here and then press the on button, which is the top right hand button, it's just doing its usual startup mode. Once I press that, it will do a purge, and the purge is to clean the nozzle from the last time. However, it does actually clean it at the end of the cycle anyway, but it's just a pre-clean. And you'll notice it takes a while, just obviously it's going through the heating compressor. It's just flashing at the moment just to say everything's being tested. And all of a sudden you'll notice 2 spouts of water coming down. And that's now doing a pre-clean. So it does about 1 or 2 of those, I believe. And you'll see, obviously, that's all going into that catch tray. And over time, if you do that sort of several times over a period of a few days, it wouldn't take long for that catch tray to fill up. Now, once these stop flashing, it means it's finished, and as it is now. So from the display, you'll notice that 2 of the 5 lights are lit. And what that is that it knows that the machine knows there's no milk or any sort of product in the foamer. So that won't light. So I've quickly put some milk in. It's fairly easy to do, just twist lids. And we're going to connect that now. And you'll notice that there are some gauge lines on the side. C being cappuccino, LM being latte macchiato. So you can, with the My Latte function, you literally can fill that up and it will fill until you turn it off, or it will just empty it out and turn itself off, and then it will go into the espresso part. So now you'll see that 4 out of the 5 are lit up. You will only have that function. If I remove that now, the latte and the cappuccino disengages. It means I can't do that, and that's because the sensor isn't being covered. And the sensor knows that there's actually liquid in there, which I believe is a really good function, because obviously you don't want it to just continue heat cleaning. So at the top, you've got small bean being the less strength, medium and large, so the high strength. And then, as I said earlier, the little scoop is where you will put the pre-ground beans in. So if you've got any of those, you can just do 1 scoop. It tells you on there, don't over scoop it and don't do more than 1. and make sure that you turn on that function. As you can see, probably needs a slight clean because I haven't actually used that function myself. So back over to the main panel. So let's give it a go, shall we? So let's grab a cup. I'm going to use this one. I do use this quite frequently, but what you'll notice is I can't move the spout up, and that's what I said earlier. So what you want to do is put the spout in the upright position like so. Put your mug under, or your cup, sorry, in my case. Just push it down just so that it's touching. Bring the spout down a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the My Latte function. And what that will do is literally drain out the whole of that milk unless I press the button, because obviously you can choose. So it will drain the whole lot. And what that does is it injects high steam and milk into like a foamer, and you get your perfect foam coffee. You can use cappuccino, and what that will do is it'll put in a preset amount, or you can do espresso or just a coffee, but they won't use the foamer. The espresso and coffee is just literally as it is. As I said earlier, that's the hot water spout, but we're not going to use that right now. I'll show you a bit later on that one. You have a clean function. That's to clean out that nozzle on there at the end of it. You can do it into your drink. I do that. It's not dirty water. So you've got a descaler, settings, and on and off. So it's very easy to use display. Like I say, you've got your preset functions at the bottom, your coffee beans at the back. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lid off just to show you basically the actual settings here that I've got at the moment. So I think I'm on about 7, so it's going to be not so fine, that one. So the less number, the finer the bean, but I quite like it like that. It's really up to you on that. So like I say, let's press this button now and it'll light up, flash. It's already grinding some beans. As you can see, they're slowly moving into the funnel now. So that's pre-preparing for the latte function. Like I said, by using the My Latte function, it will use all of the milk until you press that button. If you don't want to fill up the glass, you can turn it off. So if you want to make 3 or 4 different cups for different people, then you can do that. But in my case, I'm going to run it low, completely empty, sorry, just to show you that it cuts out. And as you can see, it's currently filling up with some foamy milk, which is, having tested this at least a dozen times now, it's definitely been a winner in our house. As you can see, it's nearly empty, and any moment now it should just turn off. It's not too noisy. I do find that early in the morning it can be, the grinder especially can be a little bit overwhelming, but you know, for that perfect coffee, I think you don't mind waking up the house. And now we're going into the espresso, so it will do 1 shot. It should just automatically do that, so just make sure that the cup's still in place, just give it time, and all of a sudden you'll notice, and there we go. So with this particular model, the coffee beans are ground right before use, so you get that beautiful flavour. It's not being ground pre-ground, so it's not sat there for a period of time absorbing moisture. So on the top left hand corner, you'll notice an icon saying clean. So that's to clean the foamer. Like I said, doesn't bother me, and all it does is the spout. It doesn't do inside the bottle itself. But in my case, for descriptive purposes, I'm just going to show you it cleaning into a secondary container, which I do. So you just do that, and all it does is it injects a bit of a hot water blast through, just cleans the nozzle. But to be fair, being milk, you want to be cleaning that fairly regular if you're not going to be using it, but it can be refilled and put in the fridge, which is what I like about that, because it's obviously a sealed container. So as you can see, it's just the espresso and coffee showing up now, because obviously the milk has been emptied out. Let's put the lid back on the coffee beans again. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to turn the machine off now. So once again, it's going through its sort of close down cycle, so all of the lights will flash, and it's going to do a purge again. It's only one, I believe it's only 1 shot of hot water for this, and that's just to close it off. So it will do double shot when you first turn it on. So I like to do it into a cup. It just saves having to empty out the tray so often. So what you want to do is turn it off. Let's remove the My Latte foamer. And I'm going to show you inside of the compartment now that the coffee capsule should be basically dropped into there. So you can see there's a little bit of residue of liquid, and there we are. So that's the coffee ground. I do have it relatively thick, so as you can see, these are fully recyclable. So, and if you have a compost heap, you can even put it in there, which I believe helps break down and decomposes any sort of recycling products. As you can see, the red dial there will come up if it is full, like I said earlier. And it has the stainless steel sort of DeLonghi Magnifica Evo branding, and there you go. So this is the My Latte function. So this is what you get, and with the quality of that is just absolutely amazing. And to be fair, everyone in the house has been using it fairly regular. So what we're going to do now is an espresso. I just wanted to show you the two different types of sort of the smallest of coffee. So we're going to re-switch it on, like I said earlier. Bring your spout down because it will do a double purge, which is done now, and turning on the machine. Goes through the startup procedure. So if you have the spout too high up, it's probably going to pretty much splash everywhere, and you don't want to do that. Try and limit the amount of mess. On the left-hand side, you would have noticed me sliding up the door. For safety reasons, it's always good to have that, especially if steam's involved. If you're not using the hot water function on the My Latte function, you're just doing espressos or normal coffees, just have that door slid up. Let's give it a quick wipe. So we're going to put a smaller cup on. We're going to do an espresso. Now, the espresso only does one shot. Now, if you want a double espresso, you can do that. Wait for it to go for its function. It'll flash. Just press it again. Don't press it twice. It doesn't work. Once again, this is where you put the beans. So beans are you've got all different types, different strengths, different flavors. So as you can see, I've pressed the espresso. I've selected my bean strength, and in a few seconds, we're going to start getting a shot of espresso. Now, if that's how you want to start your day, I tend not to have espressos. I do like my lattes or cappuccinos, but on the odd occasion, if I am in a bit of a rush and I don't want to drink sort of a milky drink before a long journey, this would be ideal just to have an espresso. And as you can see, it's coffee shop standard. What you want to do is move the spout up, and there we go, shot of espresso. I'm going to tip it in here because I am going to drink this particular drink. I don't really want a shot of espresso so late in the day, especially if it affects your sleeping. So yeah, nice and easy. So what I'm going to quickly do is a quick demonstration on how to connect up the hot water spout. So once again, slide down the lid on the security door and push it on. It's only a push fit. So you'll notice as soon as I push the spout on, the hot water icon is lit up and the My Latte and cappuccino function is off. Now the hot water comes out from the spout, so don't make the mistake that I did and put it underneath the espresso side. It does come out in a totally different area, and you're pretty limited as to what size. Now with the hot water function, once you press it, it just continually fills. So take that into consideration. And when you're done, press the button again, turns off. I have looked into it as to whether it would learn how to do a same size coffee. So if you're using a regular size coffee, a regular size mug for tea, you want to do it the same every time, but it doesn't seem to be that easy to set up. So once again, slide your door up just for safety purposes. There we go. That was just a quick demonstration of the DeLonghi Magnifica Evo fully auto bean to cup coffee machine. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And thanks again to our channel sponsor today, PCBWay.com. Like I say, you can pick this up from major retail brands. I picked up mine from Curry's. Quite a decent price as well. It was on offer at the time. So once again, thanks again for watching, and take care everyone. Phil from 3DP UK.